Anyways, today we're going to have a couple of things to update from Synology. Okay, so can you guys hear me? No sound? Okay, hang on. Can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, so you guys can hear me now. Okay, good. Thank you, Snappy. Thank you. All right, thanks. Okay, good. All right, this is a first event for this month, for February for 2021. This is a new product update. Okay, for some of you who have seen some of my YouTube videos, and you will see that there's actually quite a number of new things coming out. And in fact, on my table right now, you will see that I have the latest Synology hard drive from Synology. Okay, so I have the 12 TB, and I'll be sharing with you some information with regards to the hard drives and also the new products that are being launched. Okay, so please feel free to chat with us. Okay, we have Lisa from Synology joining us today, and also at the same time we have the product managers from Eternal Asia and Ingram with us. All right, so regardless of who you're buying it from, don't worry, there'll still be support all the way from Synology. Or if you have any issues or comments or anything to ask, you can feel free to ask any one of us. We will definitely be here to assist you and help you. Okay, so very briefly for today, is like what I mentioned earlier in my screen now. You see that today is on the Synology resellers update. Okay, this recording will be recorded and you can view it when you're free or later on. If you're busy now, it's fine, so long as you keep the link. Okay, remember you must keep this link because this link is private. Okay, the link is private. If you were to share it to any of your colleagues or co-workers, all right, just remind them that it's private. It's not for public use. Okay, because this contains some resellers information and it's not meant to be shared publicly. Okay, so let's move on and go into the first things that we need to look at. Okay, so in terms of the new models that came out for 2021. Okay, so for today, for this week, rather, so to speak, all right, they're launching the new model for the rack station. Okay, so it's the Rs1621xs Plus and the Rs3621RPXS and the Rs4021xs Plus. Okay, so these are the three new rack stations that are being launched for today's event. Okay, and globally. Similarly, it's being launched all over the world. Right. The Rs1221 Plus, okay, has been officially launched globally 2 weeks ago, and it's available for purchase in Singapore either through your distributors, all right, or various other resellers. Okay, some of you are system integrators or installers, all right, so you may still be integrating with other co-workers or other SIs in that case. Okay, so I have on this slide the pictures where you can see the main few of the differences between the Rs3621xs Plus and the Rs3621RPXS. Okay, some of you may ask, so what's the difference? All right, so there will be some tables for us to look into, but very briefly, let's take a look at the pictures. Okay, you can see for the Rs36 series, okay, by itself it's 12 bay. All right, so it's a 2U 12 bay unit. Okay, in the front it's all the same, but at the back, all right, you'll know that the XS Plus and the RPXS both has the redundant power. Okay, so there are two PSU, which you can see from the slide. Now, one major difference between the RPXS and the XS Plus is the two 10G ports. Okay, so there are two additional 10G ports, RJ45 copper on the XS Plus. Okay, and of course, the CPU wise, there are some difference between the two of them, which I will also stress to you later as we look at the technical aspects of the machine itself. Okay, now for the Rs4021xs Plus, you will see that there is also redundant power, but it's a 3U 16 bay by itself, the main unit. All right, and you can expand it further by buying the expansion base. Then what you can see is there's also two RJ45 ports. Okay, but another two difference that you can see among the three units that is on the slide. Okay, for the Rs4021xs Plus, you'll see the add-on card. It allows for full-size add-on card as compared to the other two of the Rs3621s. Okay, where you need to have the low-profile cards. Okay, so one of the things that we have to look at is also on the add-on cards, which I will also show you. Okay, very briefly and very quickly, let's move on. Okay, as mentioned earlier, okay, some of the quick updates on the hardware. Okay, so for the hardware, you will see that for the Rs1621RPXS and the Rs1621xs Plus, the processors has been upgraded from the previous generation of the 3617. Okay, there's additional 2 more cores. All right, so it's up to 6 core and 8 core respectively. All right, so for the 3621xs Plus, right, you'll get up to 8 core. Okay, you'll have up to 8 core of CPU. Okay, the echo is very bad. All right, let me adjust the echo slightly. How is that? Is it better now? Okay, let's try. Testing, testing. All right, so other than the processor upgrade, you have a better performance in terms of random reading for iSCSI. For those who are using it as iSCSI, okay, you will have a much better improvement over the previous generation. Okay, thank you, Eddie. Okay, and also the next thing is that you can add on the E10M20T1 add-on card, okay, which I will show you very shortly. I'll take out my card and show it to you. Okay, so you will see that you can add on all these cards to increase the SSD for the caching, all right? Or else you can also buy the M2D20 to add on for the caching portion. Okay, for the E10M20-T1, I have a YouTube video on which you can see the difference, okay, on that. Okay, sorry, you can see the mic. Okay, so you can see the card. All right, I'll show you the card, and you can see the card difference. Okay, and you can add on the SSD M2 NVMe caching for the Synology. Okay, that's very, very important because that helps you in terms of the caching for the read-write. All right, and you can increase in terms of having more cache or more cache memory for different volumes as you are doing a larger size system. Okay, so now you will see that there is a QR code on the side of the slide. Okay, the QR code is for you to scan to join the Telegram group to take part in the quiz. All right, so we will have a quiz today with regards to asking you a question, and for the first correct answer, we will send you a surprise gift from Synology, which is a limited edition new item, and I will show it to you in the slide later. Okay. Right, for the Rs4021xs Plus, all right, so the memory, the stock memory has increased from 8 to 16. So by itself, the default will have 16 GB DDR4 ECC, all right, and there's up to 20% increase in terms of the read performance, all right, and of course, as usual, it also supports with the add-on card for you to have the caching memory for read and write. Okay, now do remember as you add on all these memories, okay, do remember to purchase the Synology SSDs in terms of the NVMe, all right? And at the same time, do note that in terms of compatibility, okay, remember to check back with the Synology website to make sure that the items or the things that you are attaching it to the Synology are in the compatible list, okay? Because they are going to be enforcing it pretty strict in moving forward. All right, so now let's talk about the various rack mount lineups. Okay, I'm waiting for the slide to jump up. Okay, so in terms of rack storage, rack stations, all right, we know that there is the standard plus series, which is the RS820. Okay, so that is a maximum of 8 bay up to 24 bays. Okay, and in terms of performance, we know that it hangs around 38K IOPS to up to 108K. Okay, and in terms of writing, it's about 21K to 54K, and updating of the slots. Okay, there's only one slot. All right, and the maximum number of LAN ports you have is up to 4. Okay, and of course you can have the add-on card which increase up to a single or dual SFP plus, right, depending on what you choose. And if you're using it for camera surveillance, all right, it can handle up to a maximum of 40 cameras, all right. And in terms of client concurrent sessions, it can handle between 500 to 550, and for office clients, it's up to 1,800. Okay, so it's a cost-effective and general-purpose storage for the Plus series. Okay, now for the RS36 and 40, where we have a quick introduction earlier for the new 2021 model. you can see that the read and write performance jumps pretty far away, okay? And of course, the pricing range, okay? We're talking about US dollars here, okay? It goes from $3,200 to $5,000, all right? And the fact that you have additional 2 more 10G RJ45 ports, okay? And you can also have the full add-on cards, okay? And the cameras, okay? For those who are using the Synology solution for surveillance, okay, you can also increase the cameras from 40, which was the previous restriction, up to 75, and in terms of up to 90. Now, for using it as an NVR, remember that you have to calculate based on frames per second. Okay, so that's very important. If you're using the Synology as a NVR, okay, you have to calculate not just looking at the cameras, but also what is your frame rate in total. Okay, so that's to say that if you are running 10 cameras at 30 frames, so you are utilizing 300 frames per second. Okay, not to say that, oh, I have only 10 cameras and maybe I'm not using so much FPS, right? So there's a different way of counting, and that's where the sizing comes in and it matters, all right? And if you're using as an NVR, remember to always increase your memory, all right? Because you have no idea how many concurrent clients will be connected to view the cameras at any one time, all right? So these are the small little things to take note of. Now, the last but not least, on the last column, you'll see that there's a SA series. Okay, so these are the larger series where the price range is between $5,300 to $9,000 US dollars. Okay, so it goes upwards of 96 bays and up to 180 bays. Okay, and the IOPS, again, it jumps at least 40%. Okay, so you can see there's a very big drastic difference. Now, at the same time, in this slide, you will see something that's confidential, which is you can see that there are compatible NICs, okay, which runs beyond 10 GB. Okay, we are one of the first few in the world to see this slide, so you will see that Synology has preparation for beyond 10G. You'll see here there's 25G, 40G, and upwards. Okay, so these are small little things to take note of as we are moving from normal mechanical drive to SSDs, and there are higher and higher needs for faster speed. Okay, so there and there, the number of cameras that you can handle, okay, for the SA series jumps again and it goes much higher. All right, so very briefly, I just want to show you on the rack mount lineup how it's being planned out and how it's going to be. Okay, now the next thing that we want to talk about is on the changes in the coming 2021 for the new models. Okay, so there are going to be a compatibility and validation policy change. Okay, for those watching right now, there's 35 of you. Do take note of this. This is very important. Moving forward, okay, there's going to be a new allow policy, new list allow policy, which starts with the 3621 RPXS, 3621 XS Plus, and the 4021 XS Plus. Okay, please allow me to repeat myself again. There will be a new allow policy which is starting with the Rs1621 RPXS, Rs3621 XS Plus, and the Rs4021 XS Plus. Okay, there's a reason for this slide that I wrote so much. It's also at the same time for you guys to read it, in case you want to re-look into this video again. Okay, so the thing is, DSM, the software itself, will be enforcing the use of validated drives. Okay, drives that are not in the HCL, they call it the hardware compatible list, okay, will not be able to use on these 3 new SKUs for 2021. Okay, let me repeat again. Okay, for 2021, for these 3 new SKUs, the DSM will start to enforce the use of validated drives. So that's to say that you have to look at the compatible list in the website to make sure that the drives are in the list in order to use them. Okay, or else you can't carry on using it. Okay, what's going to happen is the DSM will know that you're not using a compatible drive, and no storage pool and SSD cache can be created. All right, you'll put there as not compatible. You can't even use it. All right, so I have already tested it and I've already tried it. You just literally can't do anything with it. Yes, physically you identify that yes, this is the drive, this is the SSD. Okay, but that's all. Nothing is going to happen. You can't create any SSD volumes. You can't create any storage pools from it. And no storage pools, no volumes. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat in case if you have any questions to ask. Okay? Now, this policy similarly will be applying to future mid-range and high-range products, okay, and mainly for businesses and data center usage, okay. It will not be applied on already released products, okay. So that's to say that anything that supposedly was released so-called last month and before will not be in this series, okay, will not be in this list, so to speak. Okay. Anybody have any questions with regards to this? Please voice out, or if you have any things you want to ask, you can also ask. All right. So now, in terms of the change for policies, now the expansion unit compatibilities, okay, they will also inherit the connected host compatibility policy. So what does it mean? It means that if you're buying the expansion unit for the RX1217RP or RX1217, and you're connecting it to a Rs1619xs Plus or RS36RPXS, all right, you will follow the same policy as what the host will have, all right. But if you are buying an RX1217 and you're connecting to something that's of a previous generation, okay, you will be extended from this policy. Okay, so do take note of that. And you can double check on the HCL, the hardware compatibilities, at the Synology website. Okay, we'll show you the URL. You can click on it and double check. Select the model and select the HDD, SDD, and then you can see which are the approved hard disks that you can use. All right, so in this case, today's product update at the same time is I'll be informing you on the Synology's new hard drive, okay, which is the HAT5300. Okay, so there and there you will know that there is new Synology hard drives that are being launched. Okay, the size starts from 8 TB, 12 TB, up to 16 TB. Okay, so in a case where if you are buying a new model, which is the 3621 or 4021, you can use a small drives from somebody else. Okay, so you have to look back into the list and make sure you purchase the correct brand and the correct model. So for example, you may use only 4 TB or 6 TB. Okay, so there is a list that allows you to use for 4 TB and 6 TB. Okay, for anything that's above 8 TB, you have to use the Synology hard drive. Okay, I'll talk about the hard drive later on. Okay, so as usual, a very quick reminder, okay, installing non-validated drives, okay, will result in storage pool not being able to be created. All right, so there's no storage pool, no volumes. All right, similarly for SSD caching, you can't use it if the drives are not on the list. Okay, you're supposed to use the Synology SSDs to create your SSD caching, or you're supposed to use the M.2 from Synology to create the caching for the new models. All right, so in terms of the hardware, okay, in terms of CPU, all right, the data sheets for all these models are out in the Synology website. You can download it and you can see it from there. Okay, for the RS3621 RPXS, it's using the Xeon D1531, okay, which is a 6-core but 12-thread, okay. And there you can see the difference in the CPU update from the previous generation. Okay, it comes default with 8 GB DDR4 RAM. Okay, ECC. All right, for ECC, remember you have to use them in pairs. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, and for the RPXS, remember it's only 4 1 GB LAN ports. Okay, now if you want to do any M.2 SSD card caching, you have to add on the M2D20 or the E10M20-T1. Okay, so these are the add-on cards that you need to have in order to add on the M.2 SSDs. Okay, and the good thing about these two new models is both of them has redundant power and the warranty is 5 years. All right, so for these 3 new models that are launched today, okay, it comes with 5 years hardware warranty. The hard drive that is being sold by Synology, okay, these are enterprise grade drives. It comes similarly with 5 years warranty. Okay, the warranty for the rack station and the hard drives goes back to the distributor that you buy it from. Okay, so you have to know who you buy your products from, and you go and claim your warranties from them. Okay, so remember that. Now for the RS4021xs Plus, okay, it's using the same CPU as the 3621xs Plus, right? So it's a 8-core 16-thread, right? And it comes for the 4021xs Plus, it comes default with 16 GB ECC RAM. Okay, and the good thing is, as I mentioned earlier, it has two 10G RJ45 port. All right. So similarly, as we are moving upwards, okay, you got to start to look for 10G switches to accommodate all these NASes. All right, and at the same time, if you're going to be doing HA, always take note that the heartbeat will occupy the fastest connection, the fastest connectivity, because it needs the lowest latency for HA. Okay. Right. So this is also another slide where we will look at closer on the Rs1619 RPXS comparing to the previous model of the Rs3617 RPXS. All right. So you can see here, the previous generation of the 3617 is using the quad-core CPU, whereas the newer generation, which is current model for 2021, is using 6-core. Okay. And at the same time, in terms of card adoption, okay, the card adoption allows you to plug in the newer 2020 model, all right, where you can have an add-on of the M.2 and an additional add-on of a 10G port if you're using the E10 M20-T1, all right. Then for the next one we're looking at is the 3621xs Plus, comparing it with the 3617xs Plus, all right. You'll see that similarly it jumps from 6-core CPU to 8-core CPU, all right. And similarly for the add-on card, all right, you can add on a full-size card where you can have an additional port for you to use, and also the SSDs. Okay. For the 4021xs Plus comparing with the 4017xs Plus, all right, the RAM, okay, the RAM has jumped from 8 GB to 16 GB, all right, and similarly for the card slots, there are 2 card slots where you can plug in 2 cards. Not only just one single card, all right, and you can add on a full-size card, all right. Now, in terms of IOPS, okay, you can see that there is a very big jump, as mentioned earlier. You'll get at least a 25% improvement, upwards to 40%, depending on the drive that you're using, or if you're using a full-fledged flash solution, okay. So there and there, you can see that there has been a very big improvement over the previous generations. Okay. Right, let's move on to the quiz time. Okay. I'm going to have a very fast quiz, and I need you guys to first prepare yourself for the quiz. Okay. Scan the QR code that you see in front of you. It's using Telegram. All right. Join us on the Telegram group. Okay. So the answer and the question will be like, for example, this is just an example. Okay. I may ask you a question like, where is the Synology Global HQ? All right. Then you can answer based on the city and country, then followed by your name. Okay. So what's going to happen is the correct answer, I will contact you, okay, and ask you for your name, company, and address, and then I will mail you the free gift if you win the prize for the quiz. Okay. So if you win the prize for the quiz, I will mail you the answer. Okay. Of course, the fastest one will win. Okay, so I'm not flashing it yet. I'm going to give it a few 1 or 2 minutes for you guys to join in the Telegram group and prepare yourself. By now, I think most of you are already signing up for Telegram after what happened with WhatsApp, which we all know. So quite a number of people are joining Telegram group, and you are already in Telegram. You just need to find the group in order to join in so that I can register your answer, and then we can process from there. All right. So for today's quiz, we will have a very unique item from Synology, which we will be getting it hopefully after Chinese New Year. So once it's in, I will mail it out to you guys, and then you guys can have it. All right. I only have very limited units, so I will state there in my next slide how many units I have and what are the items. Okay, what are the items, not items. There and there. All right, so if you have not joined our Telegram group, please do jump in and join us. At the same time, if you're in, you may also say hi or just drop by. Okay, so I have 2, 4, 6. Okay, so there are 7 new guys in the group. All right, so be prepared for my next slide, which I will flash out the question. So once I flash out the questions, please be prepared to answer it. Okay, remember you must answer it with the answer and your name. Okay, even though that there are your nicks on your Telegram. Okay, so in case, All right, so to prevent any dispute, I just need you to just fill in the answer and your name for it, and then we will choose from there who is the fastest to reply. Okay, so be prepared for it and get ready. Okay. Okay, the slide is out. Stand by, it's going to come in. All right, so the first question for today is name one latest 2021 RS model. Okay, are we ready? So for those who see it, join the Telegram group and be fast. Okay, we got our first reply. Okay, so I only have 2 gifts. So for 1 gift for the first 2 correct reply. All right, so it's a Thermos flask. Okay, for you to keep your hot water or cold water. It's a new Thermos flask, new design from Synology Taiwan, which I will be getting it after Chinese New Year. Once I get it, I will mail it out, and then I'll take a picture, and then I will need to send it out for auditing purposes. All right. By all means, please feel free to answer the question. Okay, I will try to appeal to Synology to try and get more freebies. As I know that quite a number of you are joining in and jumping in to answer the question. Okay, so this is the new Synology Thermos Flask from them. Okay. All right, I'm going to let this thing run for a while and let you guys see. Okay, so you guys have a quick brief while I get the card to show you guys how the new card will look like. Okay, hang on. Are you guys still in the Telegram group? Let me check. Quiz, thank you very much. All right. So while we're waiting for others, okay, let me move on to my next slide. All right. So I'm going to move on to the hard drive, but at the same time, I'm going to show you the add-on card for the new models, which you can use on the Rs1621xs, RPXS, and the Rs3621xs Plus. Okay, and also the Rs4021 XS Plus. Okay, so this is the new card where you can add on the NVMEs from Synology, where there's 2 lengths. Okay, for those who have attended the previous few sessions, you will know that there has been 2 new lengths for the M.2's SSD cards. Okay, SSD memory. There's the 2280 and the 22110. Okay, so there's additional capacitors on the longer M.2 SSDs, and also at the same time for this particular card, you also have the RJ45 10G copper. Okay, so this is the add-on card, and you can purchase this card. Even you can use it for these older models. Just double check to make sure that the models are not too old. You can still use it, so you can increase your caching memory, read and write, and at the same time add on a 10G port, be it that maybe you want an RJ45 instead of an SFP Plus. Okay, so these are all available. Okay, so let's move on to the Synology Hdd. All right, so for today's product update, we'll be talking about the HAT5300. Okay, so this is the new HAT5300. If you have any questions after the recording, and you have some questions that you want to ask, if you also ask us in the Telegram group, we will be definitely there to answer you. Okay, so at the same time, my slides are also for you to read out, okay, while you are viewing this video recording, maybe down the road, okay, not necessarily live. Okay, so now in terms of Synology storage solution, okay, all the while we know that the NAS has been there, and Synology has given us all the freedom to purchase the drives that we would want to purchase all the while. All right, and with the news that Synology has recently launched their own drives, okay, so what's with the drives? Okay, so very quickly, let me go through the highlight of the drive. Okay, as usual, the drives has 5 years warranty. Can you use these drives with the DS models? Yes, you can. Okay, can I use these drives with the older models that I may have purchased a couple of years ago or 1-2 years ago? Yes, you may. Okay, or maybe I want to update my previous volume from 6 TB or 4 TBs to right now you have 8 TBs, 12 TBs. Okay, so Synology has drives from 8 TB, 12 TB, upwards to 16 TB. Okay, so you can also definitely use them. All right, so what are some of the highlights? First and foremost, the drives are enterprise drives. Okay, so Synology uses enterprise drives for their own use, okay, for their own design. And it has been designed to be used in 24/7 environments. So you can run them in data center, in businesses, okay? Of course, similarly, if you want to run it in your home NAS, it's fine, okay? You may also do that. It has been rated for 2.5 million MTBF, okay? So MTBF are the same. All right, you can do up to 550 TB per year workload, okay? Now, another thing about it is it updates through the DSM, okay? So hard drive has firmwares. Okay, hard drives has firmware, and you can update the firmware via the DSM. So the DSM will automatically update the drive, okay, without the need for you to say that you need to update the firmware of the drive by yourself or individually. Okay, so the drive will basically, quote unquote, in a way, integrate together with your DSM. As your DSM is being updated, if there is a new firmware that requires to be updated to the hard drive, the DSM will help you do it for you. Okay, so this is another good advantage that by buying the Synology hard drive, you have this advantage. Okay, so there and there it helps you. And at the same time, we know that, okay, the firmware for the hard drive and the DSM has been optimized and to work better together. Okay, now in terms of performance, I have tested it on a RAID 5 with 4 units. Okay, I was able to hit more than 500 megabytes per second. So that's to say that each drive I'm able to hit slightly above, close to 250, okay, megabytes. All right, so that's the kind of performance. In fact, it's slightly rated around 247, depending on which model, be it that is a 8 TB, 12 TB, or the 16 TB. Okay, so if you have any question with regards to this drive, you can also ask us in the chat group, all right, or on the chat today. Okay, so how do you identify the part number? Okay, or if you are going to order it, how do I go about ordering? You may say, hey, Jason, how do I do it? So what's going to do is I'm going to show you what are the models. Okay, so for the 8 TB, we have the HAT53008T. Okay, and then for the 12T, you'll be HAT53012T. And then for 16 TB, you'll be the HAT53016T. Okay, there are no news from them with regards if they're going to be launching 18 terabytes or 20 terabytes. Okay, so for present moment, if you're going to projects or you're going to update your customers about this, all right, if they are going to be looking at the new RS models, do remember that you have to use these drives if the space is going to be larger than 8 TB for the hard drive. Okay, remember to use this Synology hard drive to spec in for your projects. Okay, the reason being, as usual, we will know that it's optimized to be used with the new DSM, and we know that DSM 7 right now is already out in public beta testing, which I will go through with you shortly later, and I'll show you one quick update. How do you update from 6.2.3 update 3 to DSM-7, okay? But please don't do it with your customers' production models, okay? If you have your own office lab or your own office test area, you have your own NAS that you're testing, you may do that and try and check out the DSM 7.0, okay? It's definitely much faster in terms of loading. You will see a big difference. Now, if you're updating your DSM to 7.0, your package centers, all your apps will need to be updated to 7.0 in order to use them, okay? And when you're updating your DSM 7.0, it will basically help you look out for the new packages to download, all right? So as usual, remember, the hard drives from Synology has a 5 years warranty. It goes back to the distributor for exchange, okay? There's no servicing for hard drive, okay? Once Synology comes in and verify that the hard drive is faulty, submit it with a service number to your distributor will change it for you, okay? It's as simple as that for 5 years, right? So it's a good thing that you can buy it with the restoration and it comes and follow together, integrate with the warranty for 5 years, okay? All right, so as usual, very quickly, today I have a very quiet crowd. Anybody have anything to say? Any questions? You are free to ask any questions with regard not only on today's products, but also on any other questions that you may have. Because Synology also is with us today, you can also ask them questions. They will be here to answer your questions too. Okay? So basically, engineered to handle intensive workloads, okay, 24/7, all right? And you have your SATA 3.5-inch HAT 5300. If you need it on the M.2 SSDs, they are called the SNV 3000. And then if you need it on the SATA 2.5-inch, it's the SAT 5200. So these are the 3 new drives, space capacity storage from Synology, where you can use it with your new rack storage. Okay. Now let's jump into the demonstration on the DSM 7.0. Okay, let me see how I can do this. Okay, let me show you briefly how fast I can basically do the update. Let me share my screen with hang on, let me find my okay, can everyone see my browser? Okay, so from my browser, you can see that I have the Synology website available on my browser. Okay, first and foremost, I do have a video on this, and if you want, you can also see the video. Very quickly, just to show you how to get the new DSM 7.0, all you have to do is just click on products on the Synology main page. Okay, go to the DSM overview. Okay, just click on DSM overview. Okay, once you're in there, all you have to do is just scroll all the way down. Okay, as you scroll all the way down, it will show you DStation Manager 7.0. Okay, click on Learn More. Okay, and again, when you are in the micro landing site of the DStation Manager 7.0, click again on Learn More. Okay, then that will bring you and ask you what you want to do. You want to try online first, or you want to join the beta. Okay, now do note this is a beta. All right. It's not meant for production use. Okay, it's meant for testing. All you have to do is just click to join beta. Okay, and at the same time, you will tell you that it's for evaluation purposes. Okay, do this only at your own risk, or rather at your own labs. Okay, don't do this for your production unit. Okay, then the next one is to install the beta software on your Synology NAS. Okay, first and foremost, you have to make sure that the model of NAS that you have, does it support the DSM 7.0? Okay, so all you have to do is just go to the download center. Okay, once you click on the download center, you will go in and you'll ask you which model of NAS do you have. Okay, so all you have to do is just go through the list. All right, it goes all the way back to DS114. Okay, even the DS114 can can use a DSM 7.0 beta. All right. So in my case today, I'll be doing it on the 719 Plus. All right. So all you have to do is just submit. Once you submit, you will start to download the software. Okay. So all you have to do is just click download. All right. Select the DiskStation that you want. Just click download and you'll download. All right. And at the same time, if you have packages that you want to try, okay, you just want to try out and see how is it. You can also download individual packages. All right. It may be a plain vanilla NAS where you update your DSM 7.0 first. Okay. There are different ways of different testing. All right. I'm not going to enforce or say there's any one best practice because anyways, this is still beta. They may have issues and problems. Okay, for the last private beta testing, there were more than 3,000 bugs being found. All right, that's normal. Okay, it's still beta testing. All right, it's evaluation. All you have to do is just click on download. Okay, it'll tell you these are the new updates and these are the notes. Okay, you have to accept it. Okay, and then all you have to do is just click download. Okay, once you click download, you'll start to download. Make sure you know where you kept it. All right, the download is very fast for us because it's hosted in Singapore. It's hosted very near to us. Okay, in fact, for us, it's almost as good as going home to get the file. All right, so it's hosted somewhere in Singapore for us. Right. So once it's done, all you have to do is just log into your NAS. Okay, once you log into your NAS, once that's done, all you have to do is just as usual, go to control panel. Okay, go to control panel and then click on updates. Okay, once you go into your NAS, okay, click on control panel. Okay, and then go to update and restore. Okay, which is over here. Then what you do is you select a manual DSM update. Okay, you have to select a manual DSM update. Okay, in order to do the 7.0. All right. So in my case, you can see that my current unit, I'm using the DSM 6.2.3 and an update 3. Okay, so this is the latest general public release mode DSM. So you got to go and browse. You have to go and find where you kept that DSM. Okay, so in my case, I have it in a folder called DSM 7. All right, and I just open and click OK. Now, different models will take up different times, okay, amount of time to update the DSM 7.0, okay. So if you have a faster machine, it may take less than 6 minutes or 7 minutes, okay. If you have a slightly slower machine, it may take upwards of close to almost 20 minutes because what happens is after you update, the NAS is going to restart, okay. We all know that whenever you do any major updates for DSM or when you install a new DSM, the NAS will restart, okay, and that will then take quite a while, okay. Okay, you have to accept and understand to update the system. Okay, as usual, you'll warn you that the installation may take between 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so don't worry, we'll just let it run. So I click OK, and we're just going to let it run. All right. While it's running, we can have a little bit of chit chat, and then we can go through if you have any questions with regards to today's presentation. Okay. Anybody have any questions that you may want to ask while the DSM is being updated? Okay, so feel free to ask us any questions that you may have. Okay, now as usual, like I mentioned earlier, all right. So the new Rs1621xs Plus information is available publicly on Synology website. The new Rs4021xs Plus is also available. Okay, now these are the two new models, or inclusive of the 3621RP XS. You need to use the new Synology drives if you need anything above 8 TB. Okay, let me stress again. If you need any hard drive to be installed in these three new models, okay, they are above 8 terabytes, you need to use the Synology hard drive. Okay, now, of course, some of you may have some questions with regards to this. I will have a Q&A session at the end, all right? So we can ask questions later on, or you can ask them now if you have, all right? So for anything that's above 8 TB, you're supposed to use the new Synology hard drives to go with the direct storage, okay? Now, if you need information with regards to the hard drive, okay, it's also available on the website, okay? So you can go in and click and go through with it. in case if you have any customers who insist to find out more. All right, as usual, the higher the terabytes, and depending on the rates that you have, and depending on the machine that you use, okay, the performance can go upwards of 274 megabytes per second transfer. Okay, so to take note of that. Okay, let's take a look at how is the update. So we have another 8 minutes to go. So these are the 4 key things that are very, very important. The speed wise, okay, reliability, optimization, and updates. Okay, so all the while, if you're using any other brands or drives, the DSM will not do the updates for you. So you'll be running the firmware that came with the drive when you bought it. Okay, but as things improve, as things get better, okay, there may be new firmware. But if you don't change the drive, you're not going to get a new firmware from the vendor. Whereas with this, which is integrated with the rack storage and the DSM, if there are new firmwares for the hard drives, you will be updated through the DSM directly into the hard drives. Okay, so that's another good advantage that you may have. Okay, the reason why is because as system integrators or as resellers, we want as little downtime as possible, and at the same time, we got to make sure that we don't go down and service the customer too often. If we do that, then we will lose money, because the more trips that we make, okay, to the customer premises for servicing or for any troubleshooting, okay, it costs us money. All right. So to reduce all this, yes, upfront the hard drives may cost slightly more. All right. I'm not going to say it's going to be how much. You can check with your distributors or your resellers or your channels. Okay. There may be a slightly higher cost, but it helps you save all these headaches down the road. Okay. And you know that all these drives has been tested and verified by Synology. Okay. So all these are additional add-on advantages for yourself. Okay. So as resellers, do take note of all this. Okay. Now, if you are going to look at what kind of performance, okay, there's also a very quick graph that is being shown there. They have also done all the various comparison with all the other brands. Okay, I'm not going to mention any brands. You can see for yourself. All right. So what are the differences and how much improvement that you will get? Okay, as compared to what you may be using. All right. So these are small little things that we can look into. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, we have 6 more minutes. All right. So another model that they recommend that you use the Synology drive is the Rs1619xs Plus. Okay, being that it's a very fast machine. Okay, no doubt it's also a predecessor model. That means it was launched way before the drive was launched. Okay, but the recommendation from Synology is that if you are also proposing the Rs1619xs Plus with anything above 8 TB, you'll be good and great if you use it and bundle it with the Synology hard drives. Okay, as usual, there are 8 TB, 12 TB, and 16 TBs. Okay, so do take note of all this information. And as you scroll back down into the hard drive page, it will show you what Synology has actually done to verify the drives and to make sure that what they're recommending is the best for them. Okay, let me share a very, very quick secret with you. Okay, one of the reasons why Synology came out with their own hard drive is most of the time, okay, be it even for my site, I'm also the service center for Synology in Singapore. We do receive a lot of calls, and sometimes a lot of it is due to not the NAS itself issues, but rather the drives. Okay, there are a lot of times we see that there's a mismatch of drives being used. Okay, sometimes it's the rack mount storage drives. Okay, sometimes the rack mount storage drive. Remember that you have to use enterprise drive is possible, and also the proper drives for you, because once you go rack mount, the vibration is very, 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 very big. Okay, because you don't know what kind of racks are being used, and you make to make sure that the drives has the vibration sensor. All right, but sometimes we do meet that there are people who are installing normal NAS drives, which is meant for desktops, okay, onto rack mounts. All right, and thereby creating issues and having issues with their volumes and their issues on their data. Okay, then it results in arguments and issues. Okay, like I mentioned, I keep using the word issues because there's a lot of arguments we get. Okay, so in order to avoid all that, okay, if you're using rack mount, if you're selling rack mount, please remember to use enterprise drive if possible. Okay, or check with your vendor that you are using. Okay, maybe you're not using 8 TB, you're using something that's smaller. All right, there are validated drives for that. Okay, make sure you stick to the list. All right, if you're using it from the list, more than likely it's okay. Okay, try not to deviate too far or too much from the list, the HCL list. Okay, the hardware compatible list. Okay, it's very, very important. Right. Let me double check on my update. Okay, we still have 4 more minutes to go. Right, so back on the hard drive, as usual, we know that it's meant for 2.5 million hours. Okay, that's very, very, very long. Okay, that's way more than 5 years, honestly speaking. But in itself, it gives you 5 years warranty for the hard drives. Okay, are you able to extend the warranty for hard drive? Not likely. Okay, similarly for the rack storage. Okay, once you use it for 5 years, we don't really recommend you to extend it further. All right, you'll be better off to buy a new model because the hardware changes would have more than double. Okay, all right. Now, warranty-wise, performance, storage, okay. So the recommendation here, as usual, 3621xs Plus, all right, 4021xs Plus, 1619xs Plus, all right. So these are the three models highly recommended to use with these drives. Of course, similarly, you can also use these drives with the previous models, the predecessors, okay. It will still work, okay, because eventually DSM 7.0 will go public, okay. And once it goes public, all right, that's it. Okay, everybody's gonna have to change. You can't avoid it. All right. So right now my DSM 7 is getting updated on the system updates, and it may take a while more because right now it's only 7%. Okay. Now let's take a look back on the hard drive. Okay. So these are the things that we have to take note. Let me see. Any other things that I may have missed out on the drives? So far, still okay. Very quiet crowd today. Nobody's asking any questions. The previous one was very, very active. Okay. Now, for the specs wise, you can also click on it and take a look at it. All right. Now, 8 TB, 12 TBs, and the 16 TBs. The 16 TB has slightly higher cache memory on the drive itself. It's up to 512. Okay. And you can see that it's rated very much higher in terms of data transfer. Okay. Now, in terms of the workload rating, all are the same, 550 TB, 5 years warranty. Okay. Now, in terms of the transfer per year is 550 terabytes per year. Okay, so that's quite a lot. And if your customers are very concerned about power, all right, all the power ratings consumptions are also listed on the website itself. So there and there, in case if you have a customer who's going to put 500 TB or 1 petabyte, okay, power could be a big issue for them, and they want to calculate how much power they'll be using or consuming. And then there you can calculate from there. It's all given for you in the data sheet for here on the website. All right. So basically that's about it. Okay, let me see where am I. Okay, I'm still updating my packages that were inside my unit. Okay, so I have updated 2, which is my Docker. So I use this as one of my test nests where I run VMs and Dockers inside. Okay. So while it's running, let's take a look if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions, or most of you are just letting it run? Anybody can give me a hi and see what's going on, or if I know if I have any human beings around. Let me see how many viewers right now. Ah, 34 people watching. Okay, that's good. All right. As usual, as I mentioned very much earlier, for those latecomers, you can keep this recording or keep the link. Okay, you can view this link anytime or share with your colleagues. Right, and so you can scroll up and down to see which are the topics that you want to see when I'm talking. All right, so this link will be active. Similarly, for all the other past live events that we have. Okay, thank you, Eddie. So all the other past events, the links, if you need it, you can also check back with us or check with us on the Telegram. We can send you the link in case there's any information that you need to verify, or you want to show the updates of the videos to your new colleagues, or if you have any new co-workers who are joining or who have not sold Synology before and want to watch some YouTube videos on how to sell Synology. By all means, you can watch all our videos. It's all available on YouTube. Okay, and similarly, I've also done some videos on the Rs1221 Plus. You can also take a look. And in fact, I have also done the test. I've also done the test for the Rs1221 to make sure that the hard drives work as per normal. All right. I know Synology is inside here. Okay, hi Joseph. So I know Synology is here, but for the general purpose of all the users, okay, I don't just service Singapore. All right, I'm also the moderator for some other Synology Nest groups in the world globally. All right, so there have been questions prompted to me with regards to some of the hardware, and because I have access to some of the hardware, I was able to also demonstrate to show it to them. So in terms of Singapore side, all right, I want all you to know, okay, as resellers, okay, you have me to assist you, okay. At any time, if you need any spare parts, be it screws, trays, power supplies, or anything, okay, don't talk about EOL products, okay. I can't help you for anything that's EOL, okay, because that means it's no longer in production, or EOS, anything that's end of support. All right, don't come and tell me I want some help for something that's 2011, okay, or 2012. Way back when I first started doing Synology in 2010, okay. I've been doing Synology since 2010, I would say August. So I have all those models. Okay. Now, Mr. Singh, yes, for the DSM, you will see that there is additional information given and provided. All right. So while we're waiting for the for the DSM 7.0 to update, I will show you some information with regards to that once it's done. Once, if you're using the Synology hard drive, okay, you'll definitely see much more information than the normal stuff that you'll see if you're using any other body's hard drives. Okay. Now, as usual, just to quick recap again. All right. Do note that it's available in 8, 12, and 16. Okay. So, in regards, if you have any questions on that, just feel free to also ask us. Okay. The updates are still updating because I have testing. I'm also testing the Mail Plus server because I am one of the certified Mail Plus installers in Singapore. Right. Now let's see what's happening. Okay, so I've been talking for the past 1 hour. Thank you very much for bearing with me for the past 1 hour. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, so it's going to take a while, right? Now let's take a look at the 7.0 website. Okay. Right. For those who are worried about updating any NAS, okay, you can still, of course, try online first. Okay. See how you like the new UI. Okay, the new login for the 7.0 is different from the old one. All right, it's no longer in the middle. All right, it's on the side. Okay, all your username password is still going to be there after you do the updates. Okay, and basically you will have more active insights and also supposedly hybrid sharing. Okay, so you can pull in down or even using the cloud storage that you have into part of your storage. Okay, and there are many new storage technologies. I hope that as early adopters, not early adopters, but as system integrators, try to check out what's happening and what are the new stuff and new things that are available on the 7.0. Then you can see what else you can do. Okay, what I like about it is mainly more on the storage technologies that are available. Okay, I hope you guys to explore more on it on your own first. Okay, before we talk further down the road and more in depth. Okay, it's going to be more technical down the road. It's not just basically buying a NAS and using it as a data dump. Okay, but dumping all the information and storing all the information, you got to make sure that your information stored doesn't suffer any form of rotting. Okay, similarly, data can also have issues in the hard drives. Okay, so we also know that for those who have been doing this for more than, God knows, 8 years or 10 years. Okay, it's not just about CD-ROM or diskettes anymore. Okay, so it's still updating on my side. Okay. All right, so in terms of management, so later I'll show you my storage pools. Okay, so you can see the relationships between the storage pools, volumes, and the cache that you may have. Okay, and also similarly, you can have advanced drive replacement. Okay, so it automatically replace the drives when it knows that the drive has health issues. Okay, before the drive totally fail. Okay, then you will jump into your hot spare, or you have to replace it out. Okay, so with DSM 7.0, it has some form of intelligence where you basically, when it knows that the drive is going to critical or failing status, okay, you will automatically switch over to another hot spare or standby drive. Okay, so there and there, you make sure that your storage pool doesn't degrade before anything happens. Okay, some of us may have some customers who suffered major storage failures. Okay, and they know that it's due to, could be the age of the drive, okay, or when it's time to come from preventive maintenance, it wasn't done, and then you hit issues. With 7.0, what happens is there's a predictive in the sense that it predicts when your drive's going to fail, or it knows, or when it reaches a critical or failing status, it will help you do that. It will help you switch over and change out the drives. And once that switching is done, then you just take out the faulty drive and change it. Okay, put in a new drive. Okay. And similarly for SSD caching, okay, it basically helps you in terms of speeding up your file access and search, okay, and at the same time make sure that your SSD caching doesn't degrade as fast, okay. Now SSD caching, as usual, as with all SSDs, okay, is using NAND. All right, it will slowly degrade over time as you use it very, very often. Okay, there's also the read-write issues. Okay, so as usual, when you buy SSDs, be it that for the previous generations, you may not have to stick to the Synology SSDs. Be sure to read the data sheets, okay? And make sure that once it's due, you do a preventive maintenance. Don't wait till that it's totally dead or spoiled or broken down, then do you choose and change it. Okay, then you have very, very big issues. Okay, so I'm on to my last one, which is updating the USB drives, the USB copy. Okay, the drive is quite heavy. I'm going to put it down. All right. For those who wants to see the drive before you purchase, just make an appointment with me or just ping me. All right. I have the drives with me. If you want to see any form of demonstration, just make an appointment with me. I'll be more than happy to show you. Okay, and also to let you see what's going on. All right. So if you want to see any toys or any new stuff, just make an appointment with me. You know, most of you know how to find me and know where to find me. Okay. You can just drop by my office and then we can have a chit chat over coffee or whatever. Okay. So if you need anything, just ping us. Okay. We will be here to help you. Okay. Let's see how long more we have to go. Okay. We'll replace these. Okay. Now for 7.0, you're going to see a lot of information. Okay. There is the insights that are provided by the 7.0. Okay, some of you may feel that it's a bit overwhelming because it's a lot of information. But so for some that's extremely techy, they like it and they love it. The fact that right now DSM is able to provide a lot of more information to them as compared to before. Okay, so some people may want to see very much more details about the drives that they have inside or the storage pool that they have inside. With DSM 7.0, you can definitely do a lot more than that. Okay. So at the same time, you can customize the kind of information that you want to see. Okay, so the kind of metrics that you want, you can customize it to be displayed for you to see. All right, so in case if you're doing it as a managed service provider, all right, and you want to run it in your NOC, you want to make sure that you know what's happening or preempt what may happen to the NAS as you are managing it for your customers. You can inform them that it's due for a change, or if you need to do some earlier preventive maintenance, all these metrics will definitely be very, very helpful for you. Okay, so all these are the small little things that is very, very useful. Okay, so as we move further down is on the user and security. Okay, so all these are all inside the DSM 7.0 beta website. All right, and you can see it there and there on the web page for you. So I'm scrolling down just to briefly go through with you. Okay. And at the same time, of course, there are people also using the NAS as their photo storage. Okay, photo storage is one of the biggest use for NAS, and one of the biggest customer base is actually also photographers. Okay, they really do occupy a lot of space. Okay, and now the next thing is on how to extend beyond the physical NAS. All right, and you can use the Synology C2 storage, and also to ensure that you have multi-site file access. Okay, and how do you do instant data recovery? Okay, by having a hybrid share folder on the Synology C2. Okay, that one is a subscription-based solution with Synology, which you can sign up via your own username, password, and your user ID with Synology and your credit card. Okay, that one is a direct purchase with Synology, nothing to do with the distributor. Okay, and also similarly, you will see here there are small little hints of new network connectivity, which is Fibre Channel. All right, and as you have, those who have joined me since early part of this webinar today, you'll see that we don't just talk about 10G. All right, there are hints of higher than 10G connectivity for the NAS is coming. Okay, so you can prep yourself for this year. Okay, for those who can get my hint. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's supposed to go into final production before end of H1. Okay. I'll keep you guys all updated. All right. So now it's done. All right. So you can see this is the new login site for the DSM 7.0. So I'm going to log in now. And I'm going to type my password. All right, so this is the new look for the DSM 7.0. After you've done a fresh install, all right, it'll tell you basically what's in the new DSM 7.0. Okay, and all you have to do is just click start. And the good thing about it is it actually allows you to instantly sign on to your Synology account. Okay, which I'm going to skip for now. All right, you can do that later on. All right, device analytics, I'm just going to skip for now. Okay. And of course, if you like, you can go for a quick tour of the new DSM 7.0. Okay, or else if you need help, as usual, click on the magnifying glass. Okay, or else you have your usual, everything else is all inside there. Okay, so you can look at the storage manager or you can look at the control panel. Okay, so from the control panel, you can look at the updates, and basically it tells you that right now you are running on DSM 7.0. Okay, the release is on 41222. All right. So if there are any new updates, you can update from here again. Okay. Now, in terms of storage pool, you can also see how many hard disks you have. It will show you literally graphically, okay, how it looks like and what kind of drives you have, okay, and a quick overview. Okay. So basically, this installation for the DSM 7.0, as we have seen, it took us about 14 minutes. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me for 14 minutes for the update, okay? And depending on the model that you have, all right, different models will run different timing, okay? Let me run back to my slide. Okay, now, okay. What full screen already? My full screen already? Okay, so as mentioned by Lisa, okay, one good thing about the Synology Enterprise Product Overview is the after-sales support. Okay, we are working on Singapore side to have the NBD, next business day replacement. So as usual, for hard drive, okay, single point of contact. Okay, you go back to the distributor settle everything for you, including your NAS, okay, your accessories, okay, be it even your accessories, okay, your SSDs, your NVMEs, your M.2, everything is just single point. Okay, so there and there you can look back for your distributor for service and support. Okay, that's the main thing. All right, or else if it's out of service and support, then you can look for the service center to assist you. Okay, more than likely the distributors will definitely be able to help you. All right, or else you can look for me. Okay, now anyways, we are trying to improve very much on the Synology enterprise product range. Okay, check back on your distributors after sales service support. Okay, they will definitely be able to update you. Okay, or else you can also send a feedback to Synology. Okay, and okay, very briefly again. Okay, just to remind you guys. Okay, the Synology Hdd 35300. Okay, 3.5-inch high performance enterprise drive available in 8 terabytes, 12 terabytes, and 16 terabytes. Okay, what I know is 8 terabytes are in stock, 12 terabytes are also in stock. Okay, so if you have any customers who are ready to update and upgrade and change, okay, by all means remind them. Okay, and also to explore the fact that it has 5 years warranty for you. Okay. Okay. Now, as usual, don't forget the storage drives lineup. Okay, you have your SSDs from Synology. Okay, it ranges from 480 GB all the way upwards to 3.84 TB on 2.5-inch SSDs. Okay, for the M.2s, you have it 400 GB. Okay, it's on 2280 or the 22110. Okay, the 22110 basically has additional power capacitors to prevent any sudden shutdown and losing of the cache memory. Okay, because don't forget the cache memory is supposed to help you store all your constantly used data. Okay, and if you suddenly have a sudden loss, okay, then all the information inside is going to be lost. All right, then you got to rebuild all your cache memory over again. Okay, on average, after running a cache memory, okay, I have some customers telling me they see an improvement after 2 weeks. Some customers tell me after a month. Okay, after a month, they can see as much as 30% improvement because there are some information they constantly draw from the NAS. Okay, and the NAS identifies and knows these are your constantly used files. It will be stored in a cache memory, and being that it's SSD, is very much faster. It does help companies improve their productivity and efficiency. Okay, so all these are all very, very important things. Of course, naturally, you won't see immediately on day 1 or day 2 because naturally the NAS and the cache has to understand and learn how to and what to store and what to do. Okay, but once over time, the customers will definitely see a very, very big difference. Okay, and as usual, we'll be on the drive also. Okay, and don't forget the SSDs that are proposed by Synology and with Synology branding. Okay, all these are all enterprise grade SSDs. Okay, and they're specifically built, okay, to be used for Synology NAS. All right, I don't see anybody buying them for any other use. Okay, so there and there it works together with your TSM. Okay, so gentle reminder again, right? If you're using SSDs, don't forget Synology has their own SSDs. Okay, and if very much possible, try to use them. Okay, and also on this add-on card. Okay, you need this add-on card for the 3621 RP-XS and the 3621xs Plus, also for the 40xs Plus, 40121xs Plus. All right, so you can have add-ons. Right. Now, another thing is, I forgot to remind you guys, for the 4021, right, it allows you to have 2 cards. Okay, so you may have different volumes. You may have multiple volumes on the 3U unit. So you may have cache memory for volume 1 and cache memory for volume 2. Okay, instead of just having one single cache. Of course, you can have 2 different cards for it. Okay, maybe you don't need so many 10G ports. Okay, so all these are small little things. Okay, so I've pretty much come to the end of my presentation for today. Okay, if you can, please scan the QR code, or if you possibly write down the URL, help us fill in the survey. Okay, if it's been helpful for you, or if it's not, or if there's anything that need improvement over, do let us know. Okay, we try our best to improve, and also if there are certain topics that you want much more in-depth information. I'm sorry, right now we can't really do interaction on one-to-one. Okay, due to the current pandemic that we are having. Okay, but if you want to have appointments, we try our best to suit you and make allow for appointments to meet up with you one-on-one. Okay, to show you things that you may want to see or solutions that you want to explore. Okay, so there and there we are here to help you. If possible, please do scan the QR code and fill in the form. Okay, all right. Okay, if anyone can't get the QR code, please do let us know. We can drop you the URL on the chat box, and you can also click on it from the chat box. Okay. For those who are filling the form, thank you very much. Okay, so the next one I'm going to run into is the Q&A. Okay, so I'm going to do a very brief and quick Q&A. Okay, as usual, if you fill in the form, there's also a lucky draw. All right, there's only one unit of the limited edition Synology Thermos, okay, which is earlier for the quiz. Okay, so among all those who fill in the form, okay, please be honest, fill in only one form, okay, because we'll let the computer decide and choose the random form, and then we will give you the Thermos once it arrives in Singapore. Okay, we will mail it to you. Okay, we will contact you and we will have your information and ask you for your information and mail you the Thermos if you win the survey form. Okay. Now the next one is basically briefly. I have to give some time for Q&A. All right. If anyone have any questions with so far on the product updates, okay. Has anybody have any questions? Please feel free to voice out. Okay, you can write in the chat box. Okay, Lisa is around. The various PMs from the various distributors are also around. Okay, I think the sales are also around. Okay, anybody have any questions on that? Now, what I've mentioned today on the hard drives, on the DSM 7.0, on the new models of SKUs. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the Rs1221 Plus is not in the list on the HCL, okay, that is on the qualified on the hard drive enforcement, okay, only on the 3621xs Plus, 3621 RPXS, Rs4021 Plus, okay, so all these are there, okay. You can also leave your feedback in the survey, all right, and we can arrange topics accordingly. I know there are some who specifically ask for very in-depth surveillance solution, okay. We will arrange for that also, and some are also asking to see into the various client solutions for surveillance, okay. As we know that surveillance is also a very big topic nowadays, right? And we know that Synology can definitely be used for surveillance, okay, given that there's many things that you can do with it, all right? If you need facial recognition, there is the DVA 3221, okay? If you need any form of video analytics, it's all available in the surveillance station, okay? Okay. So now, if nobody have any questions, let me bring up some questions, all right? Anybody have any questions on the questions that I have on my screen? Let me bring up the screen larger so that you can see it. Okay. Let me expose bigger. Anybody has any questions with regards to this? Or you want to ask? Sorry. Okay, I have some questions here. All right. Some people have messaged me. All right, so going forward, is the Hdd drive more preferred than other brands? Okay, let me say the question again. Okay, going forward, is HAT drives more preferred than other brands? Okay, I'm not from Synology. Okay, my reply would be that I would say definitely yes, because technically I know that it's been verified and tested rigorously by Synology R&D that is to be used by them. And given the fact that I know that there are many cases or situations where the wrong drives were used, okay? So all these have to be very careful, okay? I'll try and type out the questions in the chat box so that you can see it, okay? So the question was, going forward, is HAT drive more preferred than other brands? Okay, I would say yes, all right, definitely, because it's all verified and rigorously tested by Synology for it, okay? The next question, I've not used Synology for surveillance. What's the advantage of using Synology as an NVR as compared to Hikvision? Okay, Mr. Wee, okay, so the question was, I have not used Synology for surveillance. What's the advantage of using Synology as an NVR as compared to Hikvision? Now, one of the few advantages that you have is you have instant playback and larger recording, okay? In terms of channels, all right, there's no limitation in a sense to say that you're limited to 16 channels or 32 channels for using it as an NVR. It depends on the size of the Synology NAS that you're using, okay? And you have access to more video analytics, all right? And the mobile apps is also there for you. It's also free. And if you want to move higher than that, you want to do much in-depth, much higher level of video analytics, you can do that with the Synology NAS as an NVR. Okay, so there is a page on the Synology website where it's dedicated for surveillance. You can also study that and take a look, but not to use the Synology NVR as similar to as a DVR. Okay, it's very, very different. Okay, now, Mr. Go, okay, will there be a day when we cannot use other brands of hard drive for Synology NAS, as there will be some customer who have their own preference? Okay, so in my slide here, I have, on the last question, I have a project or customer that is requesting a specific capacity or drive model that is not listed. Okay, this will basically help Mr. Go answer. All right, so if you have a project or specific customer, okay, what happens is you got to get back to your distributor, let them know the project or the customer, all right, and then they will contact Synology to work out something with you. Okay, so on this case, all right, Mr. Go, if you are listening in the webinar, okay, if you have a specific customer who has specific preference, okay, and they are buying the newer models, all right, which there is a drive restriction, go back to the distributor, let them know, and then let Synology know. Okay, they will give you advice on that. Okay, get it? All right. So if anybody is shy to ask your question in the chat, okay, by all means, you can also ask in the Telegram group. We will also answer you. Okay, so other than that, I've come to the last 5 minutes. It's 1.5 hours. I believe I have taken quite a number of hours from you guys. Okay, so if there are any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Okay, we will try our best to answer you. Okay, we are definitely here for you. At the same time, don't forget, we have a Synology Singapore user group on Facebook. Okay, please do remember to join us. Okay, I'll send you the Facebook link on the chat right now and also in the Telegram group. Okay, you can join us on Facebook. It's official Synology Singapore user group. It's official. Okay, I have postings constantly every week on tips and tricks on what you can do with the Synology NAS. Okay, so you can search for us. You can search for us on the Facebook on the Synology Singapore user. Okay, so you can look for us there. Okay, the other way around is if you have any issues or problems filling out the survey, by all means email us or contact us. Okay, and then we will just give you a form separately, and so you can fill it in and send us and give us your comments. All right. So if you have any other things, please feel free to chat here. I'll be here till 11:30. Okay. Anybody have any questions, please by all means, you can either contact us on Telegram or on the chat. Okay. We'll be having another event in March. Okay. March we'll be having something very special. All right. Yet to be announced. Okay. Do join us in the Eddie. Yes, I'll buy you coffee. Okay. So do join us in our Facebook group. All right. There are a lot of activities planned for the first half of 2021. Okay. Do be active in there. We will definitely be there for you. All right. So don't worry. Any other than that, thank you very much for your time. Okay. I have posed some questions here for you, the guys to take a look. Okay. If anybody wants or is interested, let us know. Okay. We will definitely be there for you when you're selling all these models. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for your time today. Okay. Any other than that, I think basically that's about it. Okay. So if anybody wants to see the card itself, just give me a ping or let us know. All right. We have the card. All right. If you want to see the SSDs, let us know. We also have it, and also similarly for the hard drives. Okay. The photos for the hard drive I've already posted on the Synology group. All right. You can also see the actual upfront photos. All right. In case anybody is interested in what's written on the labels and how it looks like. In case some of you have some customers who are very specific about how the hard drive looks like. Okay, so anybody needs anything, just give us a ping. All right. Most of you will know how to find me. I'm also in the Telegram group. All right. You can also private message me on Telegram. All right. Other than that, I think we're okay. I'll catch up again with you guys in March, or else on Facebook. We can also definitely chat in Facebook also. Okay. So I guess that's about it. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye-bye.